Well, I'm glad you used that word, because when I'm doing a lot of my speeches and I'm speaking to young athletes that are, trying to get to the next level, or they think that's their dream and that's what they want to do, I tell them, like, look, you're not going to like this, but you're going to have to master and I don't say become obsessed, like Kobe Bryant, all those guys were obsessed with the monotonous little things about the game.
Details.
But you're going to have to be okay with those things. You don't have to love them, but you got to know, well, there's going to be, 2 hours of things that if you want to get to the next level, because now I feel like kids, are working so much harder. And I'm not saying I was lazy, but I wasn't doing intentional work towards my sport growing up because, we didn't know any better.
Right.
Casa, make yourself at home, do your do. Welcome to my pad, this your lab, go create your move.
This episode is brought to you by Subway. What's good, everybody? It's 99 Miles Per Hour Podcast with me, your host, Perci, Garner. And we got a great show today. I know I always say that, but, I'm biased. Anyways, before we get to what the show's about, let's do some announcements, get them out of the way. Now, I have noticed ain't nobody bought no merch. We got the limited time crop hoodie for the ladies. Love over everything. Come on now, click the button. It goes to a Dover scholarship for a student. If that doesn't say go buy a nice looking hoodie to help a student in need, then I don't know what does. Shame on you. No, I'm just messing around. We do have pitching lessons on Discord through my Discord app. I send it out there for a lot of people to join. Even if you don't have time to do one-on-ones, I'm still putting a lot of information out on there that can help your kid if he's a beginner or advanced, 10-year-old up to high school, or even college if they want my help. But go ahead. Join there. I'll have the link in the description. Join there, and there's chats, there's video conferences that I do with everybody as a group, and more. So go ahead and check that out. And then we got an announcement on behalf of the Dover Rotary. So we got the 12 Days of Christmas for 2021, sponsored by the Dover Rotary Club. And we got over $5,000 in prizes. Some of these are pretty nice. I ain't gonna lie, But drawings start December 7th. And they end December 22nd. So ticket sales in December 6th. So you got to buy your tickets before then. If you want to get some from me, just go ahead and put something in the comments, send me a message on Facebook, whatever, social media, doesn't matter, or call the Rainbow office. So, but there's a lot of prizes on here. Some Cavs tickets, Indians, a big old baked ham. Got a lot of good stuff going on here. So without further ado, let's get to the show. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Do that because we want to get to 1,000, because that's what cool people do. They have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. But without further ado, we got a great show today. We are mixing our solo show with a guest today. So today we're going to be talking about, the Steelers' victory and the two things that I got last night. The two things I wish for I got is what I want to say. That's what I meant to say. And I also want to talk about my retreat that I went to this past weekend and, what my experience was like. And then we all have Kyle Tharp joining the show. And we're going to talk about youth baseball and all the good stuff. So,
do we really have to talk about the Steelers?
We do. I know you got the Big Shot podcast talking about the Browns.
That's
I should
right.
probably start one. Should I start one about the Steelers? No, I'm joking. They already got one. We already had him on the show too. He's a professional, so I don't know if I want to compete with that.
You're professional too, though.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. But I feel like he knows more about the Steelers than I do. All I know is Najee Harris is hilarious. Did you see that they ESPN, the broadcaster, I don't want to throw him under the bus. It was one of the broadcasters said that Najee Harris used to sleep on the floor in his dorm room.
Yeah.
And then he tweeted like,
about that.
Bruh, no, I didn't. I slept on the bed. He's hilarious. And then it goes back to that interview he had after the national championship with Ohio State. That's just
being a Browns fan. Obviously, I hate Pittsburgh, but I really do love Najee Harris. I did when he was in college. I thought, man, this kid is awesome, and he's gonna be awesome.
I didn't know how awesome he was until we heard of that guy. It caught me off guard. I was like, what? I knew he was good. And he looked like a typical Alabama back. Big, powerful dude who looks like he was created somewhere.
Right.
And then he just outdid my expectations. And I was like, whoa, what is this superhuman athlete? So, and then I watched some of his content. You know, I saw him going around looking for apartments in Pittsburgh. That was hilarious. He's just a funny dude, man. And I'm getting a call right now. That's cool. Anyways, but yeah, let's talk about the game. So I'll tell you what my 2 wishes were. My wishes were a Steelers victory. Steelers. I feel like I'm not saying that right. The Steelers. The Steelers victory, which we got, and a great showing from Justin Fields. And, couldn't ask for more. Now, some people, like Josh, may think the win was aided. I know most people say wind aided, but they may think this Pittsburgh win was aided. But, hey, that's just how it goes, man. Sometimes the refs blow it. But sometimes when they blow it, it's in your favor. So I'll take it. I mean, Justin was knocked around a couple times. No flag. A couple times what was that call where the lineman, they said it was a unsportsmanlike, like a chop block on TJ Watt, and all he did was like brush his leg. You didn't see that one?
No, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I shouldn't even brought that up.
I get to a certain point in the game where I'm like, because I kind of delay it so I can skip through commercials and stuff. And then I'm like, okay, 30 seconds in between a play. That's 3 clicks on my remote,
Look at you.
Yeah.
Wow. You're a professional.
That's right, man. Professional football watcher.
Well, I was trying to watch it while riding on my bike.
Okay.
And then the kids and the wife just took everything over and started watching Finch. Great movie, by the way.
Okay.
You should watch it. My son cried. I didn't.
Oh. I believe you. Totally.
But no, good movie, man. But yeah, man, that Steelers game, I was watching it. I caught it, the last 2.5 quarters, if that makes sense. Some of the second, third, and fourth. And it was good to turn it on that point and see the game as a win. It was great. I enjoyed it. And, Roethlisberger's not looking as bad as everyone thought. I will slip this in. I want to give some props to someone on the Browns. Baker did all right. No, I just hate the narrative, like all the memes of like, this is Baker with OBJ, and it's got the mustache where he looks like he just smoked like 4 cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then the new suave one, this is without OBJ. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I wish some more information would come out on why they couldn't do it. I think it's because OBJ asked for a trade in the offseason. And Baker was like, if he wants out, then he's not getting the ball. And I don't blame Baker at that point.
There was also, and hey, you know what? You're a former quarterback. Maybe I get your input on this. There were some reports coming out that Beckham was kind of known for breaking off his routes or modifying them kind of on his own. And Baker's the type of quarterback in that system where he throws it to a spot.
Yeah.
Like where a guy, he knows they're going to be there. And I don't know, man. It's a whole weird situation, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and if you're OBJ and you're doing that, the relationship's got to be on point. I know he went to Camp Baker or whatever it is, Camp Mayfield, but, me and Daniel played together for 3 years of throwing and catching the balls together, and, the one time we tried to make up a route ended up in a 100-yard interception touchdown for the other team. So I don't think it's a good idea. I know OBJ and Baker's obviously better than me and Daniel, but it's a risky thing, and I wouldn't like that either. But,
okay, I mean that's just interesting because I obviously talking to other fans is different than talking to somebody who played the sport or in the position at a higher level. So
yeah, I would. It'd be scary, but if it worked, then hey. But obviously it didn't work, so it's terrible. Don't do it.
Yeah, it did not work.
Yeah, but the refs are. I want to talk about the. What was his first name? The Marsh guy with all the tattoos, who was released by the Steelers. He was released by the Steelers, and he got the taunting penalty, which I think everybody thinks is bogus.
It was ridiculous. Oh my gosh. It's one of those things where Where they say like he looked at the sideline. It's like, you got to be careful where you look now.
Yeah. Like, I could see if he was like on the sideline, but he was at midfield.
Yeah, well, didn't we talk about this with Darren Waller? Like, he caught a big pass.
True. But he spiked the ball.
But that's his thing, though. Like, as soon as he catches it, gets up, he spikes it. And he spiked it close to their sideline, so they called taunting.
He wasn't even looking at them or anything.
No, it had nothing to do with sideline. It's just where he happened to be, and he did his thing, and he got flagged.
Just how Marsh was, too. He was looking in the direction. Yeah, he was letting them know, like, look, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's football.
Y'all shouldn't have let me go. Yeah, that's, you can't play football like, oh, I just got a sack. Great. You can't play the game like that. So
it's like when they tried to get rid of touchdown celebrations. It's like, come on, it's football, it's entertainment. Why you got to make it no fun?
And that's where the NBA is winning, because they know it's entertainment.
Yeah, they do. That they do. And
yeah, but we got the dub. That's all that matters. Boswell's all right. He's not dead. He kicked 3 field goals, 2 50-yarders.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about it. Even though it was scary that the Bears even got a field goal attempt off at the end, I was like, oh, God, what's happening? Well, the funny thing is my phone died. I was watching it in bed with on my phone, and then it died right before Boswell kicked the field goal.
Oh,
so
really?
I panicked. I ran downstairs like, oh, my gosh. And, I didn't get to see the field goal go through the uprights, but I saw that it was 29-27. I was like, all right, we got this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, what's happening? But I will say the penalties were a bad thing for the Bears, but there also were some costly turnovers, and then they still had chances because the Steelers tried to give the game away sometimes too. So, Ray just giving the ball up. I didn't know that was a fumble, but once the ball starts moving, I guess, because he like hit the ground and that's when it actually popped out. But he was already moving.
Yeah, like when they showed the replay, because at first I was the same way. Like that wasn't a fumble, and then you saw him like the ball was loose, then he was trying to pin it to his side, and he hit the ground and fell. And it's like I guess he was technically fumbling it, going down. So crazy.
But that's enough about that. Steelers got a dub. That's all that matters. Sorry about it. But looking forward to the next game. Now, let's head to the men's retreat, or the Band of Brothers retreat that I went to in Camden, Ohio. So the basis of it was, it's a Christian, background or Christian related retreat, and it's based on the curriculum of John Eldridge. And he just helps you become a better father, better husband, better man under their Christianity umbrella, and tries to push back against the, Christian men are supposed to be nice guys, follow all the rules, and just do things by the book. And he wants to kind of get us out of that and, be passionate about stuff, love God. And God doesn't call us to be fearful or soft men, we gotta fight the enemy. We can't be, tiptoeing when the enemy's around. So, by the way, if no one thinks they're, the enemy I'm talking about, Satan, devil, whatever, then he's one. If you don't think he exists, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just telling you you're wrong. But it just, the basis is talking about, how to be a good father, and it's kind of how to relate to your daughter and your son. And, they have questions they want to ask. And if they get those answered properly, that's how they flourish as a child and as they grow into an adult. And for boys, especially, it's, do I have what it takes? And as fathers and mothers, especially fathers, though, you got to, reinforce that, let him know that, obviously in the movies, you see the typical dad when they're playing sports, like, just going at the kid. And sometimes that might help the kid. The relationship with your father is not going to be great, but he might be a great athlete. I've seen it time and time again, but from my experience, I parent a little bit different than my dad. My dad was in the military. He was strict, but he also, he was funny and goofball, but I didn't really see much of that side growing up, because I was too busy messing up and making him angry. No. But you got to put your son in position to let him know that he is capable of succeeding and making you proud. And it doesn't just stop when he's 8, 10, 12 years old, you got to keep doing that. As long as you're alive as a father, keep reinforcing that your son has what it takes. And it's a little bit different with your daughter. I won't get into that because, I don't remember everything, I need to be looking at my notes that I took. And as for your wife, man, it's, you can't be, what they were preaching was basically, where do you seek your validation from? Is it your wife? Is she capable of making you angry or hurting your feelings or just making you feel little as a man because you get your validation from her? If she makes a smug remark, she might not even try to be mean, but then you're in your feelings because, that's where you get all your validation. That's not where it should be, and I'm guilty of that, No one can get under my skin more than Krista. She's not even trying to be mean or whatever. She'll just tell me the truth, which I need to hear, but it's not her fault that, that I'm seeking validation from her. But when she says something, I'm just like, oh, I can fix things around the house. I'm a man. I swear I can. No, I'm just but it's something that, I think it's something I would invite you or, other friends, and there's a woman one too. I think it's good curriculum. It helps you, but it's not something you're just going to go to once and change your life. You're going to try to, listen to the curriculum and put it into practice, but it's a little difficult if it's not something, that you're repeating, or because they have them every 6 months. So I plan on going back eventually. They have it in April and October, since I just went to this one, or November. I'll probably go to the November one again. It's just, and I was sponsored. Someone paid for me, invited me, so I was like, oh sure. So
nice. And
he described it as, you eat like kings, you get closer to God, and you get to do great activities. Like we did paintball and axe throwing. It's more of like a country, like more people around Tuscarawas County, I feel like would be interested.
Yeah.
It's not my, my thing, axe throwing and, paintball. Paintball was fun. I didn't, I had nice clothes, so I didn't do it, but it looked like it would have been fun. Next time I'll be prepared, cause I didn't know. I thought they gave you like an outfit to put on, but that wasn't exactly what happened. But even for people who are single, like yourself, you don't have kids, or people who are single, who don't have a girlfriend or a wife, it's still something that you can have fun with. You can build relationships with other men, maybe get a mentor, or just kind of, just meet some other people, see what they're about, and get closer to God in the process. And I think it's definitely fun. And it's a lot more work than I anticipated. I will be honest. But it's great. It's a great message from John Eldredge, and he also has a book that I'm going to be reading here soon. So, and I can't remember the name, but yeah, it was a great retreat. I think more people should do it. So I might be inviting people. Don't feel like you gotta go, but it's definitely a good resource to become a better man, a better husband, and a better father.
I'll be waiting for my invite then.
Let's do it.
No, it sounds cool. It sounds really good. And, like you said, I don't have kids yet, but I'm always interested in like kind of taking in information and knowledge from other people who do have kids, or things like this because eventually we will, at least that's the plan. And the more, I just feel like the more prepared I am ahead of time, the better I can start sooner, because you're always learning, getting better, but the better I can be to start. That's just,
you don't want to be like me learning this stuff when you have an 8-year-old. Where you've already scarred them for 7 years.
This kid's beyond repair.
Well, that's the thing. So I've done, in my church Bible study small group, I've done something called Rooted, and Rooted talks about strongholds, and strongholds are things that you don't want to share because they're like the little sins that you enjoy, and you don't want to bring them out into the light because you'll look terrible, and you actually don't want to stop doing them. And I thought so John Eldredge, his curriculum had something called wounds. And I thought they were the same thing, but strongholds are more like the addictions that you have that are medicating your wound. So you might have a wound from your dad. Maybe, he was a great person. Maybe he was a pastor or a teacher, but then when you got home, he just didn't really show you love, never said I loved you, never really gave you any type of approval. He kind of was just passive, a passive father, which that happens a lot. Because his father was passive, and it just gets passed down and passed down. And, you know, man, we're not supposed to show any affection or say I love you. That's soft. But, and you know, that's the message that people put out there. That's incorrect. It's something that I think is important. And, you know, as men, you know, we need to get back to, or even if, I don't even know if we were back in that, this needs to be something that we need to do. And build up our sons and our daughters. You know, that's the worst thing you can do is take the father out of home.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, most mothers stick around and take care of their kids. It's just the deadbeat dad. That's what you hear. That's what's always the story or the plot in most movies, you know. And I can only think of one movie where the mom was just like, you know what? No. It's old, Halle Berry. It's called Losing Isaiah.
Nope.
But she was a drug addict, so, you know. But I feel like there's more sober dads that just say, nah, I'm good. You know, and that's why that's a big factor in what, you know, broken homes are about. So I think it's something to really hit home for me, even though I had my dad around and, you know, he was a good dad. And I feel like the way he fathered me prepared me for the world, but there was also some deficiencies. Obviously, not every dad's perfect, but being aware of them, he probably didn't even know he was doing anything wrong. But, you know, now that I'm like, oh, and you start to realize why you have these wounds and why you turn to an addiction or a stronghold to medicate that wound instead of just going after the wound. And I was like, oh, that sounds good right there, you know?
That's interesting. I'd be, interested in hearing more about that too.
Like, for an example, like if you were growing up, and I know your dad didn't do this because you guys built this table, so this doesn't apply to you, but, you know, a kid who, you know your dad is able to fix things and you're struggling to fix something and he just doesn't, you know, just do it on your own. That's how I learned it. And just through life, that's how it is. You don't really do activities together. And if you do, it's something that he loves and you have no part. You just don't like doing it at all. It's not going to foster a good relationship. And down the road, you're going to see the results of that. So
yeah, that's a good point. Or the complete other end of the spectrum, where if you're trying to fix something, he just takes it and fixes it for you.
Yeah.
And gives it back.
Yeah.
But that middle ground where it's like, let me show you how to do it.
Yeah. Well, we don't have patience these days. So that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Son, do it right. Come on now. You should know how to do this. You're 6. I understand, but come on. But nah. But yeah, I think it's something that, you know, I mean, what do you guys think? Put in the comments. Does God call us to be nice, rule-following Christian men with no backbone? I'm like forming the question to make you lean one way. But no, do you think God, you know, calls us to be the nice guy? You know, I'm not saying that we're supposed to be mean, you know, and hate women and abuse them. I'm just saying that, you know, too many guys are passive and just kind of live life on accident until they get 40 and they're like, whoa, what just happened? Or 50 and like, oh my gosh. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. It should be fun. But next, I want to get into, you know, parenting and youth baseball and, you know, with our guest, Kyle Tharp. So Kyle is someone I grew up with. He was older than me. He saw me when I wasn't that athletic. So don't talk about any of that, please. But him and his brother are good friends of mine. We grew up playing video games together, sports together. And I saw him miss a dunk in a basketball game. So that was cool. And but now he's got a son who is really good at youth baseball. And Kyle teaches hitting. And we did have a short lesson, or a short like little business where we were giving lessons. I was doing pitching. He was giving hitting because I know nothing about hitting. And welcome to the show, Kyle Tharp. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, bud.
That's awesome, man. It's good to have you on the show. I know you've been, you know, you watch the show, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. And do you like the baseball episodes more or just whatever?
Just kind of depends. I think the baseball kind of relates to my life because I do that a lot.
Yeah, tell us about yourself, Kyle. You know, you got a all-star son who's hitting home runs every weekend, or
he's doing really well. He really is. He surprises me every weekend. Just the things that, you know, he picks up on, and I mean how he's progressed from 9 years old to now is mind blowing. You know, I mean, these kids are legitimately leading off at 9 years old, you know, high school rules. And as we move up
leading off, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It gets pretty intense pretty quick. Trying to teach 9-year-olds how to hold runners that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the Phillies had trouble teaching me at 23. So see, they're so advanced.
Yeah.
They're lucky. They don't know how good they got it.
Yeah.
But that's how it always is, you know. Nutrition, protein shakes, you know, we didn't have all that.
No, we didn't have anything. I mean, we didn't even really have access to travel baseball when we were their age, really.
True.
You know,
I didn't play until I was 12. And it was like still not like a big thing. We had like 3 people, I think, that played travel ball. Like we always played together otherwise.
Yeah.
Which you can look at.
Well, I mean, Dover still does a good job with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they have a travel team, but it is Dover kids. I mean, and they're very successful. They do a very good job, you know.
Yeah. I see a lot of things on Facebook of, you know, teams winning championships. I'm like, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
You know, are they in the little league thing?
So we actually do, like with travel, we're in either Nations or USSSA.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of I would say it's the same idea as Little League.
Gotcha.
But it's more advanced. You know, we lead off. We pitch further distances at a younger age.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, realistically, we kind of have to. I mean, we have 3 11-year-olds in excess of 65 mile an hour right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. At 11 years old.
Dang.
Yep.
I think that's where I was around 12. Like,
yeah.
I know I hadn't touched 70, but I was, you know, upper 60s. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We faced the team that I left Dover's travel team for was the Canton Diamond Dogs, and they had a dude throwing 75 when we were 12. And I kind of gave it the token, like I stood in the batter's box because I was back when I hit. And I was just like, oh my God, this is throwing gas.
Yeah.
And I remember the 2 fastballs went right down the middle and the third one went down the middle, but I tried to like make it look like it went outside, like looking like across the plate.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Blue, are you serious? Yeah. Umpire's like, bro, that was right down the middle.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny. With kids throwing that hard, you know, this young, our kids stand in there and hit it.
That's great.
And it's no big deal. You know, I mean, that's the amazing part to me. You know, you have these kids that are so talented at a young age. And, you know, and I'll use my son as an example because, I mean, that's really where, you know, my focus has been in off-season stuff and going back and looking at some of his game things and things that he's done. You know, even at 10 years old, I mean, we were facing kids at 10 years old, I bet 60, 61 mile an hour at 10.
That's crazy.
And this kid's pulling the ball at 10 years old, and it's confidence, right? Like, so it's not just because he is that talented. It's that we've put him in enough situations that he understands the game. You know, he knows a pitch count. You know, he knows his situation. So if he's got a kid that throws off speed, my son knows if I get a fastball on the first pitch, I'm hitting it.
We yanking it.
Yeah, we're yanking it. That's just what we're doing. You know, and it's amazing to me that all the kids in our areas that could have that chance. You know, especially Dover. I mean, Dover has a lot of really good baseball players. We had a few of them on our fall ball team.
Oh, okay.
And oh my gosh, like didn't miss a beat.
That's what's up.
You know, and we had a few from Philly, but Philly, in my opinion, and they're a little behind Dover in the youth baseball department. I think they're trying to get it you know, to where it could be, but they're definitely behind. And the Philly kids, it took them a little longer. But by the end, we did a tournament up in Sandusky, which Sandusky is a phenomenal complex.
Yeah, I hear about tournaments up there all the time.
It's unbelievable. But, man, they started hitting, you know, playing confidently in the field, and just it's amazing to see how they progress in such a short time.
Well, I've talked about that a lot on the show and, you know, my lack of confidence and when I do have confidence, how much better I play.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely – and, you know, back in the day – you don't see many people throwing hard. So when you do, you're like, oh my gosh. And I can't imagine what people thought when I was throwing, because I was throwing hard and you didn't know where it was going.
Absolutely.
So like, oh my gosh, Perci's pitching today, you know.
But I think that helps.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's that uncertainty when you get in the box, right? Like it's not going to be down the middle every time.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing with the young kids at our age that are throwing that hard, they've had so much work and they're so good at what they do at such a young age. That fear's almost gone.
Yeah.
You know, I think last year Reed got hit 4 times all year.
He's been watching that Brandon Geyer film.
Well, I'm trying to get him to lean into one. He won't do it, but, you know, he's built like me. He doesn't have much meat to, you know, you can't really take a fastball. Could wait on a curveball or something.
True. that's pretty neat to me because, you know, obviously I know how we had it growing up, and then just see how, like, I want to give my knowledge to the kids, and the level they're on, it's just kind of weird, you know, and I try not to, like, you know, blow their head up too big, but I'm just like, the kids, and I had 2 of my best clients that I had in pitching lessons were from Philly, because that kind of sucks, but they're like really good, but they're older, you know, right. So but they're just advanced upon where they're at, and you know, I would give them positive feedback, but I don't want to be like, dude, you're amazing, you know. Just because I knew where I was, and I had no idea. I didn't have pitching coaches or anything. I was just kind of out there chucking the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not knowing baseball, I didn't know situations. I didn't know, hey, there's a guy on second. You know, maybe this guy wants to hit it between, you know, in the 4-hole to move the runner. I wasn't thinking that. I was just like, all right, I got to strike this dude out. Fastball on outside corner, curveball.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I mean, it's funny, you know, a lot of parents around here don't understand that, you know, just the level of understanding that the kids have that are playing travel ball. You know, they look at it as it's just, you know, you spend a bunch of money, you're on a good team, you travel every weekend, you know, but it's really not that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess you could make it that if you wanted it to be that. But I mean, in reality, we just get a chance to take the kids that really want to be there and really want to play and learn and teach them at a more accelerated pace to where they're not bored.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know as well as I do, you go to the rec games. I mean, you always got that kid that's standing out in the outfield picking flowers and looking at his mom. You know, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. That's, I mean, that's part of community baseball. I mean, you know, you're trying it out and seeing if you like it. We've kind of, you eliminate that, you know, when you go to a travel scenario. And honestly, you get better coaching. You know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, like, you get better coaching, you get more interested coaches. You know, they're definitely more involved.
Yeah. But most of the time they're not looking at it like, oh gosh, now I got to go to this practice after
work.
Right,
exactly. You know, I can honestly tell you that every time we have practice, I'm excited to go.
Nice.
You know, it's something that I truthfully love to do. And it's really not even just for my son. You know, I would, even if I couldn't coach, I'd rather him being that scenario. But for me, it's watching the kids progress and learn. And once they finally have that, what I like to call that light bulb moment, that like it comes on like, oh, I figured this out. You know, I got this now. Like that's what's cool for me. You know, and I guess it could be in fielding, hitting, whatever. But this year, again, my son had his first over the fence home run this year.
Yeah, and that's life changing.
Oh my god! I'm
not even like joking.
No, and for a dad, like I didn't understand, like with my parents, you know, they're staying off to the side and they're watching me play, and they didn't get to experience that till high school. I honestly didn't hit a home run until high school. You know, I was I was smaller. I didn't have the power to get the ball over the fence, and that ball went out as soon as he hit it. You know, it's funny because you look and see the ball go, you're like, that's got a chance. Yeah. And you look back at him and he's just staring at it. His eyes are like quarters just running like, please just go out. You know, and it goes out. And you ever like Super Mario, like, you know, when he does the jump thing, he did that going around first base, dude. It was the coolest thing in the world. You know, and it's hard because you're trying to manage being a coach, so you don't want to look like an idiot standing out on third base jumping around for your kid. But inside, dude, you're a mess. You're like, oh my gosh, like trying to hold. It's a good thing I had sunglasses on because like I'm trying not to cry as my kid's rounding first base.
Yeah,
it's cool.
As a baseball dad, that's a moment. I mean,
it is.
You know, I mean, my dad was probably similar because he used to try to play it off like, you know.
Yeah.
But I knew because he would record all my games and stuff like that, and he'd have his own commentary like, come on, Perci on the video. But you know, I hit my first home run when I was 12, not to flex on you, but I was bigger than most people. And that was the only year I had home runs. But so
stuck to pitching after that, but it's cool. It worked out.
Yes. But it's like once you have that moment, you're like, baseball, it's fun, and then you have another level of like, oh, okay, now I can hit home runs now. Yeah. And then you're like, let's do it. So.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what happened in him. You know, it was, the kid loves baseball. You know, that's his sport. If you give him an option of what he wants to do, that's it. You know, and after that happened, the amount of I like baseball even more now was unbelievable.
Oh, man.
You know, and it leads into better things. You know, I mean, once you get that confidence, you know, once you figure out, okay, I can do this. Like it doesn't matter. Cause I mean, the kid he hit the home run off of, I mean, he was throwing well and dead center field hammered. I mean, it was an awesome, like he earned that one.
Yeah.
You know, and he ended up probably 4 or 5 tournaments later on championship day. We had to win 3 games to win the whole thing.
Wow.
He had a home run in each of those 3 games.
Oh, that's the one I remember.
Yeah.
Because my brother-in-law was like, talking about it.
Yeah. Shane, he was there, and he asked me, which is another cool thing, just meeting people at baseball games and knowing some people. But he said, man, there's a lot of ruckus going on over there. What's going on? I said, well, Reed's hit 2 home runs, 1 in each of the first 2 games. He said, wouldn't that be sweet if he got 1 in the last one too? And there it goes, and the cool part was my mom got a video of it. It's the only video I have of Reed actually playing in a game, because I'm coaching, and Tiff is she's a ball of nerves when he's playing. She's the one that's up screaming and cheering, and the typical baseball mom. Yeah. So my mom records this at bat, and it was his 3rd home run of the day. It is so cool. It's the only video I have, and it's him in his 3rd game hitting his 3rd home run of the day. It's awesome.
I mean, just to talk about the fun level that these kids are having. Of course, when they're doing that, it's great. But then when you are playing rec ball or playing around your peers that you go to school with, sometimes it could be, a little stale sometimes,
Sure.
Even when I was, hitting home runs off my friends, I was, me and Eric and a couple other people had the home run race, right. Eric ended up winning, but, I was like, I'm playing on field 4, let's go. And he was playing on field 6 and he hit 2 and I hit none. I actually gave up 2 that day. So it was great. Ooh. But you see, these memories stick in my mind.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I wanted to bring up there was this small town similar to Dover. They do something fun for the kids, and I guess it's the 8th year 8-year tradition that they do, and it's kind of, I don't know if we could do it, because obviously we play on City Park, and I don't know how they do stuff in October and what the fields are like, but I think it would be pretty cool to do more stuff like this. But they have a Halloween game where people, and they interviewed it was like a news coverage of it, and they interviewed one of the parents, and he's like, yeah, man, it's cool seeing Frankenstein hit a home run off of a witch. Okay. It's weird because they obviously they get to dress up in their costumes. They still got the baseball, but they, some wear masks, some paint their face, and it's a good experience. But then, parents get into it, and of course they get the candy, because as a little leaguer, the post game meal, is what I look forward to. But it's a fun thing, and I think, having activities, extra things can bring more fun to the kids. I mean, I don't know where we could do anything like that, especially if you're from an area that's got colder weather and stuff like that. But, there's stuff you can make fun. I know we have the All-Star games but then that's always, and I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, making fun for everybody, but
right.
That is something that could,
it could be, and I think there's a fine line, right? I mean, you have the kids and the parents that just want to have fun. Yeah. It's part of it. And then you have the competitive side, and I think that's one of the hardest challenges, and I do think with the Halloween games, I think that would be something really cool to do. Yeah. I think anything you can do to get kids more involved in baseball is a great thing. Yeah.
I didn't even think it could be a tool to get kids out. Like, the Halloween game, you get to dress up in your costume and play baseball.
Just let them have fun. I mean, it really kind of combines 2 things in life that you enjoy. And I think the biggest thing for like any little kid is the fear of embarrassment. Am I going to strike out in front of my buddies? Am I, I can't throw a ball. Well, throw a mask on. No one knows who you are. Go have fun. You know what I mean? Go have fun.
I wonder if that's their intention. No,
I don't know.
That's great, man. That's awesome. But, no, I think it would be cool. And I just was, I typed in Little League news and that came up and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. Because obviously my son isn't involved in Little League baseball yet. Right. And even though I might give lessons to young players, just there isn't that much excitement because I don't go out and watch them. Yeah. And I do get texts from some parents like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, I really didn't do anything, but,
well, you did more than you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just try to, obviously I'm going to teach them things, but with the format we did before, it's hard for the kids to kind of just, because I'm telling them baseball knowledge that I didn't have on top of like, hey, throw the ball hard, move your shoulder here, the mechanical stuff that everybody wants to know about. But I'm like, look, focus on, the game of baseball and being competitive, and the other stuff, it won't take care of itself, but it'll just be easier, if you're thinking about playing the game. I don't want, because I know that, hindered me, when I'm thinking about, all right, it's 6th inning. I'm playing against Mookie Betts, and I'm worried about where my arm is. Like,
right?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
No. So
yeah,
I think it's it's a fun thing, and I can't wait till my son. Hopefully, he wants to play.
I'm sure he will.
I'll make him pay for at least make him play for at least the first or second year. But I was late. I played coach pitch. And I think I only played for 1 year, but I was also the kid that got kicked out of the game. And I think I mentioned it on the channel before, but I got kicked out because I didn't know anything about a force out. Okay. Or there was a guy on second, no one on first. They hit the ball to me. I stepped on third and then threw it back to the coach, and umpire called him safe, and I blew up. So
ain't having that.
I was like, he is out. But, that's why we got another game. So I was 8 doing that. And then you got Reed here, who was 9 leading off. So
yeah, it's
just
amazing.
to show how advanced this stuff is now. But
yeah, and actually, it's funny. They do 8U travel ball.
Wow.
But they don't do leading off in 8U.
That's nuts. Are the kids pitching?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In my standards, like, you got to be 10 years old and have a clue what you're doing before I'm going to give you some lessons. And there's like 8-year-old travel teams. That's crazy.
I mean, to be honest, the 8-year-olds,
well, yeah,
they're on another level. Yeah. I mean, they hang with 9U teams.
Oh,
Reed plays with the Aces Elite.
Yeah. It's
now clutch baseball, but we're still the Aces.
Gotcha.
So when he was 9, we had an 8U team that we played against, and it was also an Aces team, and their pitchers were throwing as hard as ours.
Wow.
It's pretty outlandish how early these kids are as good as they are, to be honest.
That's crazy. And I got to come up to a practice, and I watched Pat Swain invited me up, so I got to see some older kids, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's kind of like, man, I wish I had all this stuff when I was growing up.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
no.
Well, and that's the hard part, because we didn't have access to stuff like that.
Yeah.
We actually started last Sunday with our winter workouts.
Dang, I was about to say, I was about to ask how off season is. Typical off season is for you, someone who, their kid, you're not making your kid do this, but he wants to get better at baseball. And, like, how do you guys schedule things? Or is it just like, hey, Reed, you want to go out and play some catch? Or, hey, you want me to throw some pitches to you? Or do you guys have like a calendar?
No, we don't have a calendar.
You don't have a personal trainer?
No. So basically, like a typical off season for us, really, I'm fortunate to have where we worked at the bullpen.
Yeah.
So I can go down and throw to him kind of when he wants to. In the off season, I don't push him to do baseball stuff.
Gotcha.
I think
you hear that? It's like,
I think he needs that break.
Yeah.
And he's playing basketball.
Nice.
Which he didn't really want to, but
so he doesn't have a 9 p.m. basketball game again.
Yeah. I was gonna say it cuts into our playing time, but but no, we. I try to put him into different scenarios just because I don't want him to burn out on baseball. As much as he loves it, I think you always have that fear as a parent, I don't want you to hate the game. Just because we did it so much when you were a kid that now, you get to high school when it actually matters and you just don't care. No person really wants that for their kids.
Of course.
But no, we do, like I said, from last weekend till January 1st, we'll just practice one night a week on Sundays. It's from 6 to 8 up in Massillon.
Okay.
And it's just light throwing, just more stretching and basically arm maintenance. Just keep throwing, keep your muscles moving and some hitting. And that just,
I would say that makes sure the kids that maybe aren't playing other sports or just
it keeps them active. It keeps them active. And these ones are optional practices. We don't have to go to them, but it's if you have nothing going on, we try to have you show up.
Yeah.
But it's nice in the off season because it gives me time to work with our hitters. It gives us time to really break somebody down and maybe find the hitch or the whatever's going on in their swing that makes them not comfortable.
Yeah.
And I mean, as well as I do, I mean, you can teach somebody to pitch, but we're all different.
Yes.
So what takes this kid 5 minutes to learn might take this kid 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with ability or anything like that. It's just our brains process things differently. And that connection between our brain and our hands at 11, 12 years old isn't always there.
Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly because even when I was in pro ball, I would see someone pick something up so quickly and then I'm just like, I'm way better than this dude.
Yeah.
Why can't I do that?
Yeah.
Coach me differently or better or something.
Right. So that's as a coach, that's one thing you have to really kind of watch out for. Is the discouraging of the players because like you just said, there are kids that are going to pick something up in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, I can walk up to one of the kids on our team and say, dude, you're blowing your front shoulder open, you know, with your hip. Like, turn your hips first and follow with your shoulder so you're not blowing open.
Boom.
Oh, got it. You know, and it's like, all right, you got it.
Yeah.
You know? And he carries it on to the next practice. And, you know, I'll use my son again, when we first started, which Reed kind of got the advantage of it because I started when he was young.
Yeah.
You know, and it took us forever. Like he couldn't wrap his head around, like, why am I hitting everything to right field? Why am I popping the ball up? You know, but I think at the end of the day, when you want to do something for yourself, you'll work at it.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, this sounds hilarious, but the way I learned how to hit for the most part, like my coordination was I would hit rocks in the driveway.
Yeah, I did that as well.
Yeah, Mom.
I did it with a wiffle ball bat.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I started.
Except I lived around a lot of houses.
Well, that
Got in trouble a little bit, but
Yeah.
also threw rocks. And, you know, I think that I shouldn't get in trouble with the law, but I would try to throw rocks across the river and hit the water treatment plant. I never hit it, so I'm good, right? But, you know, that's how I got the strong arm, man.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because, I mean, honestly, I learned more doing things on my own than I ever did with a coach.
Yeah.
You know, my mom and dad's basement, it was small, but I had a baseball that I would throw against the wall and field ground balls. It was just, you know, I liked the game. It's what I wanted to do. And I would hit rocks outside by myself. It was just something about the way you feel when no one's looking at you. No one's telling you what to do. You can figure your body out.
Yep.
You know, small little minor changes in hitting don't seem like a lot, and because you can't feel it unless you know what your body feels like when you make a good swing. You know, so I think, and that's to your point, I think with teaching kids at a young age, how we were talking earlier about, you know, maybe when we decided to do lessons, it was like, you know, have the kids be at least 9 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a good rule.
Yeah.
Because you have to figure your body out. And if I could give any parent any advice on your kids, don't worry about pushing them so hard so young.
Yeah.
You know, encourage them.
I was a late bloomer.
Right. Well, and encourage them to play wiffle ball.
Yeah.
You know, hit rocks, do things like that let you feel what you've got going on.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I know times are different. When we were growing up, we didn't have, you know, we had video games, but it didn't consume our lives. We didn't have social media. We didn't have phones.
Right.
So I was just out making games up. And yes, there was some, you know, things from sports in it, but you know, we were just making up games as we go. We throwing the football around, hitting baseballs, kicking kickballs, whatever.
Right.
I don't even know if kids play kickball anymore, but
I don't know, man.
But it was just, we were being creative. We were doing different things, and you know, there was no governing.
No.
You know, parent, it was just like, let's just go play.
Right.
And then you kind of just, and we also played the game where I can't say the title that I know of the game, where you just run around and tackle each other and try to play football. And I feel like that's that's the hardest I've ever played football, is that, you know.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
Those are the fun times, the times that I feel like I had the most fun playing those sports. And it kind of just fed into getting into the organized sports. So I think it's very, very important that we focus on the fun factor.
Absolutely.
You know? So.
Absolutely. If it's not there, you're not going to want to do it. You know, I mean, I don't know of any little kid that turned 8 years old and his dad said, you have to go to hitting practice and you're going to go to pitching practice, and that's just what you're doing, that has ever been successful in playing a game. You know, I think there has to be that line, though. I think that as a parent, you have to know your kid, obviously.
Yeah.
I know right now the exact line that I can push Reed to, and if I go over that line, he's done.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do, you know, what I'm asking him to do anymore. And when the fun is gone, when that line is reached where it is no longer fun, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
You know, the monotonous, you know, everyday grind of baseball, you know, I mean, the stuff, I mean, you know, as well as I do, it gets boring.
Well, I'm glad you used that word, because when I'm doing a lot of my speeches and I'm speaking to young athletes that are, you know, trying to get to the next level where they think that's their dream and that's what they want to do, I tell them, like, look, you're not going to like this, but you're going to have to master and I don't say become obsessed, you know, like Kobe Bryant, all those guys were obsessed with the monotonous little things about the game.
Details.
But you're going to have to be okay with those things. You know, you don't have to love them, but you got to know, well, there's going to be, you know, 2 hours of things that if you want to get to the next level, because now I feel like kids, you know, are working so much harder. And I'm not saying I was lazy, but I wasn't doing intentional work towards my sport growing up because, we didn't know any better.
Right. Well, and we played 3 sports.
Yeah, true.
Whatever season was in, that's what we did,
exactly.
And honestly now I still know people that do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they have time.
Yeah.
You got to
at least do 2 though.
Yeah, I think so.
Kids. I did a show about this.
No, I think that's a good thing. I think you can't just do one. Because like I said, you're going to burn out, and you might absolutely love it, but you're not going to get as much out of it if you're not excited.
True.
So I know, like for Reed, when basketball's done, he's excited to get back to baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I've noticed that a lot in my daughter. Like Taylor is excited. Like when basketball starts, oh my gosh, it's her thing. When it starts, it's all she wants to do.
Nice.
And it's funny because, and I see a lot of her in me. She, last winter, one of her games got snowed out.
Oh, okay.
Balled her eyes out.
Oh, wow.
Balled her eyes out. And it's funny because my mom's like, do you remember doing that? And I was, no, I don't remember being 9 years old. She said I would cry when practice got rained out for baseball.
Oh man.
And I think that has to be there.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, then you're not putting all of yourself into it. And I think that's the biggest part of the whole thing.
That's when you feel like who's driving this?
Absolutely.
The parent or the kid?
Absolutely. Yeah. And realistically, little kids, when they put everything they have into something, whatever it is, it's amazing what they can accomplish.
True.
And it's amazing what they pick up and how fast they pick up. Little Percy playing a PC. How long did it take you to learn to play a PC?
As much as I don't want to admit it.
It took me forever.
I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Like I felt like I couldn't move my hands and fingers. I was like, what am I doing?
Right. Well, I'm sure Percy was the same way as Reed. He gets on there. He's just running around. It's like he's got it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, how are you doing that? Just asking him questions. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Prime example of that is my daughter's 2. She doesn't know how to spell or say the alphabet, but this game on her iPad, she can drag the letters to where they need to go and make these 3-syllable words. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, look. And she'll do it. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then the lady will say it and then she repeats it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And I can already see it. Like everyone who comes around is like, wait, how old is she? I'm like, 2. They're like, what? Because she just talks up a storm. And I'm like, what the heck? It's crazy.
Right. It is.
Kids catch on.
The kids are amazing. Yeah. Honestly, they really are. And I didn't understand a lot of things. My dad, my mom would have conversations about just wait till your kids get older. You don't understand this yet, but you will. Just wait till they get older. I figured out what they meant real fast.
Yeah.
The things they pick up on and the things they do, it's amazing.
Yeah. So you got to watch your mouths.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But man, it's good to have someone like yourself on the show that, I know you talked about Reed a lot, but there's a typical parents that are just like, my kid, and, or if a coach, you gotta, put their kid out in front of everybody.
Right.
But obviously, and I think I've been to a couple of Reed's games, but it was a while back.
Yeah.
But, I don't see that from you, but it's also to have like an objective opinion. I use the right word, right? Yeah. So objective. Subjective would be my opinion. Objective means you have no bias. I'm smart. But it's good to have someone like yourself who's done lessons, who's, had a kid that's been successful in Little League ball. And, we'll know, we'll know sooner or later what Reed's going to be about. Yeah. I'm excited to see, I've never been like, oh yeah, I want to see this 12-year-old play.
Yeah.
But then when I start doing lessons and I see how advanced these kids are, I'm like, man, this is exciting. I want to go watch this game. And we've had kids, we've just had a dude go to Toledo from Dover who, had professional scouts around the game. So you never know what could happen. Don't. And, I'm looking forward to, people come out of Dover, kids come out of Dover. And, do you ever see yourself coaching higher as Reed goes higher, going into high school?
Honestly,
better not say for the Quakers. No.
So honestly, as long as I can do it, absolutely.
Nice.
It's truthfully one of the things that I love to do.
That's what's up.
And I shouldn't say roped into. I'm coaching Taylor's basketball team. Helping coach this year.
Yeah, they got me like that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll help out. And you end up calling plays and doing all this stuff. You're like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah. So Yeah. No, you're exactly
being
right.
a head coach. Like, wait, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But
no, it's fun because at first I was worried about coaching girls. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, true.
I know that truthfully little girls are way more aggressive in basketball at a young age. And they ignore the embarrassment a little bit more than boys. Boys kind of have that ego when they're little, know, like, no, I didn't just airball that. The little girls, like, they just take off, run to the other end. They don't care. So it's kind of a different feel to it, but it's the same thing. I love it, and it's just doing something that I was passionate about when I was a kid and being able to pass that off, to the next generations of hopefully someday, and I know this is a long way down the road, but maybe my kids or the kids that I've helped coach can look at the scenario and say, well, I know that he had this much fun and I had a blast with him. Maybe I can do the same thing. Maybe I can pass my knowledge on to the next generation of kids.
That's what it's all about. No, and it doesn't have to be sports wise. Just giving back to the younger generation and the community is just something that I think we should all strive to do. We've done that in this community already, but the younger kids don't ruin it. All right. No, but, yeah, man, I do want to thank you for, coming on the show, sharing everything. And, it's been fun. I'm sure we're going to, be in Discord chatting, playing the game here soon, but I'm glad that you wanted to. It's hard to find people who know something and don't mind speaking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, we've been friends for a long time. So to me, years. I just, a few. Oh, I feel old now. But you just kind of ignore the cameras and just talk. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's always fun talking to you.
Well, it's good because usually I have to kind of make the cameras disappear by having a conversation first. You didn't really get that liberty though. So like we come in like, all right, we're recording. Yeah. How we doing, Kyle? Yeah. But no, we loved having you. Obviously the show's not dying. So we'll probably have you on again. I don't know, whenever. So
sounds good.
But appreciate you. Appreciate y'all. I might make a shirt that says appreciate y'all. Everyone makes fun. Eric made fun of me for saying that. I said it like 18 times. But I appreciate everybody for, coming to the show, whether it's YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like I said, we're trying to get 1,000 to that partner membership. So stop playing around. Just subscribe. Kyle, you better be subscribed. That's on YouTube. And we're going to have the merch down in the description, all the equipment we use if you ever want to start your own podcast, all that stuff. And leave a comment. Remember the question. Did you think that God wanted us to be soft little Christians or not? The choice is yours. No, I'm joking. I just talked about that with Daniel, Mr. Vaughn. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember that every morning in middle school. Oh my gosh.
Oh my. We could probably stay here for another 30 minutes talking about stuff. But anyways, till next time, this will be Tuesday, maybe. Sometimes I feel like putting them out early, so it's whatever. But we next guest we'll have City Council President. And he's going to educate us on local government, how it works, because it's not the same. I know we all obsess over the federal government, president, and all that stuff, but I think if you focus on your local government, that's where changes can really be made. So looking forward to having him on the show and teaching me and you guys about everything. And we got some other guests coming, some other baseball players from farther away than Tuscarawas County. So it's going to be fun. But thank you guys for listening. And peace.
It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. I got a crib by the water. Say me Casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. She be on that Henny. I like that Corona.